So with that, I suppose we'll move on to the Southern Hemisphere Super Rugby, which is getting it's hilarious that it's only coming just as the French final is, but we're on the last regular season game.
We are,
and it's still undecided in terms of who the final. Well, like we have. Is it 6 finalists that are confirmed, and there's 2 places still?
Well, not confirmed. Confirmed. This is just my the maths whizzes are going to be better at this than I am, and obviously we're releasing this post 2 huge games on Friday morning our time, Friday evening in Australasia. Like 2 massive games that are really going to decide the shape of things: Highlanders, Taz, and Rebels, Chiefs. Like 3 of those teams are like teetering on the edge, or Highlanders and Chiefs are anyway. Taz are gone at this stage.
I think so. Yeah. But Taz lost it pretty much against the Brumbies, didn't they?
Yes, the other week. But it's permutation mad. What I am saying, what I think, just looking at it, it's not technically true, but I think it's pretty much true. Is that obviously we have the 3 conference toppers, Crusaders, Jags, and Brumbies now decided, and then we have your Canes, who are way clear, and then the Bulls and the Lions I think are pretty much safe,
close to safe. It's maybe not guaranteed yet, but their points.
And then there's the Stormers Sharks game where it looks like winner is going to get a spot, and then finally the last spot is going to be one of the Rebels, the Chiefs, or the Highlanders. And while the Rebels are 3 clear of those 2 teams, the things can change pretty quick. The Rebels are playing the Chiefs, and it's in Melbourne. It's a huge game. Everyone's getting big for it. But the Chiefs, they've been up and down this season. But geez, if they can produce something like they produced in Suva, that is game on time.
It is, and the Rebels have shown signs of improvement this year, obviously with Quake, but they've also shown some performances where they've been soft.
And if the Highlanders need a Chiefs win, and then they need to out. I actually don't know, like they're level on points with the Chiefs right now, but behind them, considerably, even though they have a better points difference. So I'm not entirely sure how that works, but it seems to me like they need Chiefs to win without a bonus point against the Rebels, and then get a bonus point at home against the Taz, who have nothing left to play for.
So that's doable.
So it's absolutely doable. Unfortunately, that's all already happened
by the time this is uploaded.
So we're going to focus with the weekend's games to come, which will
Stormers Sharks, I think, is probably the big one.
Stormers Sharks is definitely the big one.
Like in terms of your Safa derbies, excellent, but also in terms of one of them is probably going through.
One of them will go through. The winner of that game will go through.
So it's a straight shootout for finals. So it's already finals footy for both of them, essentially.
Yes, indeed. A little last 16 game for them.
Which is excellent. And I think with Khaleesi out as well, we're probably rooting for the Sharks here.
Oh, yeah. I am anyway.
Away from home, the Sharks being Darragh's pet team. Because he just loves their hustle. And also, given the fact that I think
even in that Jags game, they had great hustle. This is what I think about the Sharks, is that every score it's different from the other Safa teams where you really get a sense that every score scored against them was earned. But it was kind of fun in its own way to see the Jags just with really fast hands, super pace, and super play design, and as well just completely stop Sharks' defensive plans. And even in that context, Sharks never stopped hustling, but they do like to shoot a lot, and they just get outside them. They just get outside them. The Jags, you just have to keep your width.
You can't against Argentina, and in general any Argentinian teams, their wingers are fire, so you need to mind them. But the chip through is paying such dividends for them as well. But I think you're right in saying that, like, conversely, the Bulls, as we've said all season, just the softness of some of the scores they gave up, off first and second phase, where like a team will just crash up in the 22 and you already know a try is coming, and it comes like 1 or 2 phases later with another ludicrously soft, almost resignation. It's almost like, I'm tired of tackling, just score the try so we can kick off kind of feeling, which obviously isn't what's going on in their heads, but it's just manifesting itself on the pitch, which is not something you see with the Sharks at all. So no, credit where it's due, and hopefully they put on a great show, because I think the Stormers will be bulling for it as well, minus their captain, and he's going to be at home for them.
Bigger pack, a little better on paper. home in Newlands where they're getting good crowds. There's
sure.
a lot of value to the Stormers and what they do as well.
That's true too. Yeah.
More when you have big Khaleesi on the pitch, but they're going to be doing it for him.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a cool derby. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be quietly rooting for the winner. But I do hope that the Sharks get it done.
Well, the other factor is that with the Jags topping the SAFA conference, they get the home draw, which means that all the other SAFA teams that qualify are going to have to go away from home.
That's right.
And with that being the case, the Sharks probably have the best chance of any SAFA team of making a run of it.
I agree.
Because I think every other one of them is just going to lose their away fixture.
The Lions and the Bulls.
The Lions and the Bulls are just going to lose tamely away from home. And that's exactly what will happen. You can quote me on that.
The Lions were tamely and soundly beaten by the Canes at the weekend in Ellis Park, despite some nice Gianti play.
Yes. Lovely Ben Lamb running over of Yankees in that game that I quite enjoyed. I do like Ben Lamb actually.
Ben Lamb is serious. He doesn't get the love. Well, he gets the love in Hurricane Land, but he doesn't. Wellington, that is.
Yes.
he does, but he doesn't.
Hurricane Land.
But he doesn't. He doesn't get the love on a test level.
No, he doesn't yet. Well, I recall him getting turned inside out by Am actually. Ben Lam.
Was that Ben Lam?
No, Nathaniel Am.
Nathaniel Am turned him around
and made him look rather silly in defence. But then he's not the only one that's happened to.
Nathaniel Am is quietly super class. Yeah. So it's a really exciting weekend. The other games, obviously, Jaguares are going to round up their regular season, but not their home season. They're getting it's a home game against the Sunwolves. And they're playing at home in a quarter-final, which is the one I'm really looking forward to. Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing Buenos Aires host its first major competition quarter-final that I can recall.
I'm wondering what that stadium will look like now.
Yeah, I think it'll be super packed and awesome and raucous. And
little cauldron. No, we're excited for it. Obviously, the Sunwolves game is an afterthought. It's little kind of drills of running your backline moves. I doubtless they will score many beautiful tries in that game. But it's a dry run for their actual finals footy for the first time. That is my story of the season. Is the Jags?
It's everybody's story of the season now.
It's just I've always been a big fan of them ever since their first roster was named. I was like, oh, what a team! And it's never quite been good yet. But this year they look great, and it's no coincidence that it's World Cup year either.
None at all.
The Argentinians just operate on a different kind of time.
They get it right though.
They do. They time it much better than the rest of us. I'm excited. I'm excited for their prospects in the World Cup because they're in the group with England and France as well. But I'm mainly now in Super Rugby mode, hoping that they can make a run at it. Because that's the one question we don't have answered about the team yet: is how do they do finals footy? Because we just have never seen it. There's no data to go on, and we're going to get it this year.
The other games of the weekend, the Hurricanes are playing the Blues, who are wrapping up their season in the Cape Tin, which isn't a really pleasant place to wrap it up.
No.
And
I suspect the Canes will probably win that. In Kiwi tradition, the Blues will not quite win.
Yeah. The Brumbies have nothing, and the Canes and the Brumbies are hosting the Reds. Neither side has anything really to play for. The Reds did get their win against the Blues, knocking them out last week in their last game in the Suncorp Stadium, which they really wanted. They put a lot of blood and sweat into it, and definitely Brad Thorne will be pleased. They feel that they have a little something to build on, but in general, it's been a bit of a disappointing season for them.
Yeah.
They're finishing up out in Canberra, which, unless the Brumbies pick a B team, you would expect them to comfortably win. And then Sharks Stormers obviously is that huge game at 2:00 on Saturday afternoon, and then rounding up the regular season with the Bulls against the Lions, two teams who I think are safe, but both will want to win it.
Will it are they still jostling?
Oh, they're jostling.
I think so the winner of it will probably probably get the Jags
if the Chiefs and the Highlanders both max out, and then the Lions might need a win.
Right, okay, that could be true actually. There's something like that at play.
Absolutely.
I would.
In fact, they will. Yeah,
if
they need a point or
then
something.
Come on, the Highlanders and the Chiefs
and the Bulls
and the Bulls. All of them. I want all of them to win, and the Lions to not be in the knockouts. That's my ideal scenario. I suspect that won't happen. I suspect
the Lions might even go and win that game out in Loftus.
Maybe. Yeah. They do tend to get those results against.
They have
teams.
it over the Bulls. They have a bit of an sign over the Bulls.
Yeah, and the Bulls just this season haven't look good. No, to be honest, neither of those teams have looked particularly good
the
this
Bulls
season.
showed a bit of muscle to get back into that game, and it was huge. That draw was huge for them, much bigger. They got that late try, a nice little Andre Pollard quick pass.
Yeah. Well, you still look at their team and you think, like, how can they not compete at this level? And they surely can on one given day.
There were just some
3.
seriously loose plays in the backfield. That winger who was in for Speckman on the left wing didn't cover himself in glory. Off a few little Aaron Smith kicks. But they were behind and they got back into it. They found the winning score. They huffed and they puffed, and eventually they got over. Didn't get the winning of the game, but it ended up being much more negative for the Highlanders and much more positive for them.
Yeah, so that's something to build on for sure, and it is getting into that postseason buzz where it's only a few games that you have to go for. So it's easier to get up for them all in a row rather than some of those tame performances you see mid-season.
There's travel factors now. Like, they're back home for 1 week and then back on tour again. So it's going to be a long uphill battle for them. But yeah, like it's been a great season. There's a super compact nature to it as there so rarely is. But yeah, the suspicion would be that those teams creeping above the pack are those teams that are going to be really
it's one of those ones where the
title.
league table doesn't lie, and the fact that there is that little bit of space at the top,
except for the fact that it does kind of lie, because third has way fewer points than fourth.
Apart from that that instance, yes, the Aussie Conference buzz. But in terms of like your points accrued, that's why same way you look at the Hurricanes in terms of the amount of points they've racked up this year leads you to believe they're going to be competitive come the finals as well.
Hurricanes, Jags, Crusaders. Those are your 3 potential winners. In my book. Sharks.
The Sharks are the outside.
Sharks it would be such incredible. It's not going to happen.
You'd be making a movie.
I tell you what, exactly. The last weekend against the Jags, just like that game is just a horrifying matchup for them. That game is worse for them than the Crusaders. They don't need to be playing the Jags. If they play the Jags,
it could happen that they get through just to go to Buenos Aires and
that's not where they want to be going.
Again.
That's not where they want to be going.
No, the pace that they put on the ball is something that is
so tough
kryptonite.
to defend.
Well, it's tough to defend for anyone, but it's kind of kryptonite for that Sharks team, I suspect. But it still would be lovely to see them earn their way in there, because I do stand by that I think their kind of hustle and their kind of grit in terms of club culture, despite maybe some of the lack of quality player for player, leads me to believe that of all the SAFA teams, they would have the best run of it. Them, and then followed probably by the Stormers, I would say. Whereas I think the Bulls and the Lions will be, given the away nature of their first game in the postseason, they're just not going to win it. I don't see them mounting any kind of challenge to win it or any kind of run.
What's good for South Africa is that all 4 teams are in the mix. They have a good few European players to pick from. They have obviously informed guys like Ches and Colby, even Cobus Ryan they could call on, and then obviously Faf de Klerk. There's such tools.
Billy LaRue.
Billy LaRue, of course, and there's such tools for Razzie to assemble.
For sure. And the Springboks are a separate entity from all their clubs, which is
a greater entity. They really do a good job of being the sum of the parts. The Springboks, at least Razzie Springboks, have thus far done.
So you'd think that it's all positive signs. Even the likes of Pollard getting frustrated at the Bulls doesn't quite impact on his Springbok form,
because he's got a little faff there doing so much work for him. Just cheer you up. Just looking at him going, oh, you're so great.
I think I'll carry this time, says Pollard. Knowing that Faf will just keep it going.
Exactly.
Like as we've been saying, it's just been a phenomenally competitive season of Super Rugby, and given the last few years, and then obviously like the kind of negativity surrounding the axing of the Western Force last year, and it's been just good to see.
The recurring theme has been just all 5 New Zealand teams being better than the rest of the competition, which is not true this time round. There's as much as we continue to deride Aussie and South African teams for noticeable continuing frailties, they have improved relative to the competition. Although that said, 66-0 we didn't touch on Crusaders against the Rebels. This is the reason why I think the Rebels are so screwed this week. I don't even know how you bounce back from that.
It's at this time of the season for that to have happened, albeit to the Crusaders, but that's not good at all.
They were just ruthless, man. They were just ruthless. Hat-tricks for both wingers, Moonga having it on a string, Crotty playing class. Like, it was just ruthless Crusaders, and they just didn't. It's like
not having any of the Rebels. The Rebels were not not going to stop them at all.
It looked like a wounded animal from that game in Suva, and to my money, it's propelled them right back into strong favourites for the competition.
Yeah.
Just that statement.
Yeah.
That's All Black-esque statement.
Well, it was like, given the last month, we were saying last week on the podcast that it had been a stop-start, stuttering kind of month, capped off by that Suva defeat to the Chiefs that would have left them reeling, because they did go 20 points up in that game and then throw that away, which is not something they ever want to do, regardless of the circumstances. And yes, they came out and the Rebels were just caught in the line of fire of the inevitable backlash from that. And it has happened just as they had a bye week. They have a bye week this week, so it means that's what they go into the postseason with, which is, you know what, that's worrying signs for the Jags, because leading into prior to that, you were thinking like, you know, the Jags look dangerous, and they still do. They still do look like a dangerous prospect for any team. But that Crusaders performance is enough to remind you of the machine that they are.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, we can't forget the value of home advantage in this of all competitions. It's just like the difference between Crusaders having to go to Buenos Aires in a final,
the Jags having to go out
to New Zealand.
Literally the world. It's half a globe away.
That's it. If you know, the 4 favoured 1 to 4 home sides win their respective quarterfinals, the Jags are huge beneficiaries of the goofy table system where the Aussie team gets third, because they have the Brumbies coming to town, whereas the Crusaders then would have to deal with a boisterous Hurricanes outfit coming to town, which is like a potential loss for them.
For sure. Bowden and the boys can put it on and actually tear any team apart on their day, to be honest. And it's it's an interesting one. That would be a lovely avenue to success for the Jags. The Jags would be praying for the Canes to get through that, and they'll have a lovely shootout in Buenos Aires.
I tell you what, Dane Cole's coming off the bench and bagging a couple of tries.
Excellent news.
Yeah,
for
TJ
rugby in general,
just looking great. I mean, there's Bowden wasn't there last week. I'm sure he'll be back, but there's a lot of there's a little sleeping giant there in the Canes. Lamape's looking class. They could just light it up. They're good.
Well, like them going on a 3-game winning streak is nothing too far-fetched at all.
Precedented.
Indeed, so you could have them click into gear and just blitz through them. Alternatively, you can have the methodical Crusaders going through, and it'd be nice for O'Gara to cap off 2 seasons with 2 wins before heading back to France. From a personal Irish point of view, I'd be rooting for him to do that, but my ultimate goal is that the Jags win this season. I'd love that to be the story of Super Rugby 2019, that the Jags take it and leave the Kiwi teams speculating and scratching their heads and all of this, and it's just those crazy Jaguares stealing it on them. That would be lovely. There's a long ways to go yet, though, in that, and many is a game to come first. But we were excited for it. The last regular season round this weekend, we'll be watching, and we'd encourage you to do the same, because it's really heating up. Yeah. Absolutely. Thanks for watching the Overlap Rugby podcast. If you enjoyed that video, please like down below and subscribe for more videos, and please enter the comments section to join our conversation. Thanks.